Let's move on to the Ancient One. Now, obviously, Tilda Swinton is an amazing actress and just the one of the weirdest people. I got to meet her for the junket. She's sweet, but it was like meeting a color. It was like, oh, fuchsia, that's what you're like in person. Like, she doesn't even seem like human. Like, she really is like, she would have made a great Doctor Strange, I think, too.
She's floating in the air right by you.
Yeah, pretty much, almost. But let's talk about, what did you think of this already controversial depiction of the Ancient One? And then I have kind of my reasons into why given the end of the movie, why they cast it the way they did. But what did you guys think of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One?
It's funny because I got yelled at on Twitter. Shocking, I know.
It's usually so nice.
Because in my review, I wrote something about like, I brought up the controversies, but I said, controversies aside, I thought she was great. And someone yelled at me for even saying controversy aside, where I understand like it's a huge issue in and of itself.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be like dismissive of people who are upset about that. That being said, on its own terms, if you just go into the movie and you don't even know anything about the Ancient One from the comics, she's great. Like she's
the Jedi Master.
Because she's so odd in such an interesting way. And in this movie, I thought it was really fun to cast her as this, this sort of both. Yeah, she is very Jedi because she's very Yoda as far as being someone you might like think isn't going to be that powerful, and then she is, and then
she has cheeky wit too, kind of like
right,
Yoda had in Empire.
But she's so sort of ethereal and not of this world, that's her Tilda Swinton-ness, that it worked great, and she just kind of exudes that sort of inner tranquility and peace.
Yeah.
But she can also play that power. So I really liked her. And
yeah.
I love the scenes with her and Strange and Baron Mordo together. I really liked, just like but first of all, these three amazing actors, and who are just kind of all in on this craziness.
Yeah, normally you would only see them in like a period movie,
right? Right.
Like it's got nothing to do with it's got nothing to do with like British politics or anything. It's just like we're gonna play sorcerers and run around.
Yeah, and then I love getting to watch her, be the all powerful magician, sorceress, and.
You mean her stunt double, where they put the hood on her and she could do all
her,
that?
Man.
Like, hey, Tilda don't get out of bed for less.
No, that was literally her because they didn't need to do special effects because Tilda Swinton can just.
She can move that. What'd you think of Tilda?
It's still weird. It's still weird that they cast her in this role and then changed her to a Celtic for other reasons, and we're gonna put her in this character that's originally Asian, in these Asian trappings, in this Asian look. But she's going to be Celtic, and
it was Celtic actually.
Oh,
Celtics are
the Celtics. I was going to say, well, she plays for the Celtics.
Yeah, I love the scene where she had her Larry Bird jersey. That was amazing.
She had a Ray Allen jersey.
There's a scene where she comes back from a game and they don't mention it.
You live in New York. You can't. Oh wait, no, they don't. They live in.
But it was still weird that they went in that direction, and I'm like, oh, okay, like nobody will notice this. This isn't a big deal. This isn't something we should address.
It was the mishmash of cultures. I mean, the Enchantress, they did that kind of too with the Enchantress in the Suicide Squad movie, of having it be kind of like a mishmash of things. And I think in their attempt to do that, you actually tick off more people because it looks like you're not being mindful of cultural elements. But I think, the screenwriter, C. Robert Cargill, who used to write for Ain't It Cool News, believe it or not, back in the day, he got into some hot water earlier this year when he mentioned on a podcast that the Ancient One was never going to be an Asian male. It was never going to be, first of all, and I think when you get to the end of the movie and it's a battle to save Hong Kong, I think that's exactly why they didn't do that. And he said in his podcast that if you make the Ancient One Tibetan, as he is in the comics, that means you are then recognizing Tibet in your movie, and China doesn't recognize Tibet as an independent nation. So that means then your movie doesn't play in China, which is going to be the largest film market in the world. And the fact that the end of the movie is all about, we have to save Hong Kong, it's
like the end of the last Transformers film.
And it was so funny for that reason. Like, gotta save, because I somehow didn't know at all going into the movie that there was anything set in Hong Kong. And then when it happened, I go, oh, okay.
Yeah,
They were like,
course.
we have 3 portals, and they're all at the top of the globe, nothing at the bottom. One's definitely in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the 3 major cities: New York, London, and Hong Kong, which
'Cause
all
Dormammu
just happen
only
to
attacks
have
from the top.
film financiers based in each city. You know, so yeah. So
And this is, if you think about it, this is actually the second time they've done that with one of their villains. I mean, last time it was in Iron Man, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we got Ben Kingsley. So they've done the same wash twice, and
Yeah.
and it was, you know.
Did you read the interview a friend of ours, Jenny Amato, did with Derrickson this week?
No,
Very
no.
good interview because and Derrickson, you know, for what it's worth, I mean, he's very sort of candid and is like, yeah, you know, I felt like we have this character who is a very stereotypical, like, of the 60s character. We have to change him. And I felt, and he said something like, it was like a good line where he said something about like, I thought I was choosing the lesser of 2 evils, but I'm still choosing an evil ultimately, as far as like, you know, I won't do that stereotypical character, but I'll just completely change it so it's not an Asian character. So it was a damned if you don't thing, but he also basically says like he realizes maybe he could have figured out a better way to do it.
Well, I mean, look at how they handled Wong in this movie.
no, which is
you know, they basically made him the drill instructor, if you will, the world's
Kilowog.
meanest
and
librarian.
in some ways
Totally
the most
Kilowog.
knowledgeable
Yeah, he's
character.
Kilowog. You're right. Wow, there's a lot of Green Lantern
Right.
reference points here. But yeah, I think could they have done that with with Ancient One? Just, you know.
Yeah.
You can always you can always rebuild a character. You can always start from scratch and say, okay, here's the idea of the character. What are the elements that we actually need to tell this story, and what are the elements that we don't? Can we strip away some of this kind of goofy, you know, Fu Manchu twisting stuff from the 60s, and can we actually build a character that makes sense for this audience for this period?
Yeah.
That is, instead of just like, okay, we'll just, you know, race swap them and then, you know, and see if that works. Like, see if we can leave some of the original elements and just we swap the race.
Because I
take the
mean,
discussion out.
changing the race of Mordo doesn't matter because it's not an integral part of that character. But the Ancient One and Wong were based on stereotypes.
Yeah, like
I mean,
a lot
they
of these
are from, you know.
You know, it's the Mandarin. It's the same. It's in the same zip code.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah.